Hello. Welcome. It is live.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's live.
You're live. Wait. You're alive. You're
What?
welcome.
You're
You didn't
live.
make me.
You're right. I did not make you. What up, Solid?
Hey. Oops. Boom. That's a big blown up version
What?
of when I accidentally made a click.
Whoa, what happened?
Clicked on the thing. You guys want to see that again? Oh. I can do it again. I've got the power. Oh. See? Now Joe is my chest. And, well, no. Joe is my face. And then I am my chest. Here's a big of
What?
Joe. Oh, look. Joe looks great. What? It's backwards on the one. That's amazing. That's a beautiful sight.
Fantastic.
Uh-huh. That's great. Hey, Sally.
Wow.
How you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to... It's always nice to see you, Sally. You're an amazing guy. I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence in this world. You're amazing. How's everyone doing? Looks like we got a low volume intake right now of people, but it's totally
That's
fine by me.
alright.
I'm so tired. I woke up.
I like these. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, last night I was just so tired, and so I just like, I'm gonna go lay down. And I thought about stuff, thought about working on stuff, and like process things in my brain, and eventually fell asleep. And I woke up at like 6 in the morning, and I've just been so tired. It's like hard to keep my eyes open like this whole time since 6. And now it's 12, so it's been 6 hours. I don't understand. It's allergies, man. They're rough.
That's silly.
Mm-hmm.
You guys and your silly allergies down there.
I know. We can't control ourselves. The allergies control us.
You can't.
Yeah, it's
I
the
can't
trees.
control myself.
I can't control myself. The trees, man. The trees control me. Is that a conspiracy? No. It's called pollen. It's awful.
It's real.
It's real bad. They use these like chemicals that float around in the air. You can't see them, and they take control of your mind, dude, and your whole body.
I love that for you.
I love that for you. What a statement. Ouch. I feel yeah. That's funny.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're able to be here and do stuff and all that. That's good.
Yep.
Even in the midst of all the allergy craziness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably the only obligation, I guess, that I've been able to keep pretty consistently. Because yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's real rough. But anyhow,
yeah,
we're here and we're here to be with you guys and help out in any way that we can, because I think that brings all the joy, and it's completely worth it. Even if I'm tired, it's absolutely worth to do this show. Like best, one of the best things in my life to be able to do.
Yeah, even when we're sick, when we're tired, all that stuff. It's just
absolutely.
Yeah. One of the best things ever. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. I hope, man, you'll be in my prayers. And your friend as well, and everybody involved. That's tough, man. I'm sorry.
I think I missed.
See it in the chat.
Yeah, I think I missed. It didn't come.
It's right there. Sally says I'm getting by. Had a friend pass away on Friday.
Okay.
Stayed home Monday, but doing better.
Oh wow,
that's
that's
rough.
Oh, that's so rough.
I'm sorry.
Man, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's really rough. Yeah, sounds like. I mean, I don't know your friend, but kind of know you a little bit and like your age. I hope. Yeah, that's really rough. I hope you guys are gonna be all right. I mean, I hope that it processes over well with everybody. I know that's just a really hard time, and there's nothing you can do other than experience it and do your best to carry on. Yeah. Yep.
Zay, I love you too.
Yeah, people's lives are valuable. That's why it hurts. Okay. Hurts.
Love.
Yeah. Well, other than that terrible, unfortunate thing, how is everyone doing today? Yeah.
You guys look good. I
How are
can
you doing,
tell
Joe?
just by seeing your words.
Your words are very neatly comprised there on the computer screen. It's beautiful. I see
Yes,
you put some
I'm
thought into it.
fantastic.
Good. Fantastic. That's great.
Zay says he loves us, so that just makes me fantastic.
Had a solid
Apparently,
cry
my
about it, yeah.
autofocus is still on, so I'm
Oh,
gonna switch that.
that's okay.
I'm gonna fix my camera a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Saule. I respect that, and that's just how it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just how it is.
Yeah.
And it's good that I mean you're doing, I think you're doing your best, and I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. And you're here.
That's right. And you're here. You made it. You made it despite all the problems. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
So we're happy you're here.
Hi, August. Nice to see you as well. And Zay, I didn't personally say hi. Joe said hi, but I'm gonna personally say hi to you. Just hi, Zay.
Personally. Hi, Zay. Personally.
In person. That means we have to meet in person. Actually.
Yes.
You live in Australia?
No.
Oh. Even if you did, it probably just live forever away.
I don't think he's that far. I think
I'll be over soon.
I don't know. You're probably from where I live. I'm guessing Zay would probably be about an 8-hour drive.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe longer. I don't know. Somewhere around in there though.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I know where you live.
That's right. Joe knows where everybody lives.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he does. In fact, everybody
Just the people who have told me.
And anybody who's ever bought anything.
And anybody who's ever bought anything, I have your address.
That's right.
I did not memorize it.
So he doesn't actually know it, but he has the ability to acquire the information. Which he will.
Wow. You've flown over my house 4 times, Zay?
Whoa. Flown directly over Joe's house.
Did you drop? Is that why there's crap in my yard? Did you drop it from the plane?
Yeah, it's definitely that. That's funny.
There's a big bag full of money, you dropped.
Oh, wow. You found just bags
dropping
of money in your backyard? That'd be so weird.
Hey, you have my box. Yep, I wrote box on it.
Nice.
That's a Joe personalization on the box.
That's almost a signature.
Close.
Yeah, close.
I mean, people used to sign their names with an X, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
There is an X.
There's an X on it. Yeah, that's pretty. That's about as close as you can get to a signature without being a signature.
And actually, it gives you the whole experience too, because it's got BO on it too, so you get that rich odor.
Signed body odor. Yeah, it's just shoving the boxes in his armpits as he goes.
Yep. That's what I do. I grab your merch and I rub it all up in there.
Dang.
I box it up and I rub the box all up in there and I write the word box on it.
I don't think I've ever received anything so personal in my life.
That's right. That's right.
That's
my
a real
DNA is
gift.
all over that thing, and then I lick it sometimes.
Yeah, and not just your DNA, your whole ecosystem.
If you're really special, I'll like wipe my nose on it. You have a little booger hanging on there.
Take one of those.
That's what the boxes smell. Yep.
They
smell great, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, you thought cardboard smelled like that. No, that's what Joe smells like.
I smell like cardboard. I invented
cardboard
the
smells
cardboard
like Joe.
smell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. What a... Wow, that's amazing. All right, well, with that, let's
now
do
that
a
we
topic.
got that out of the way.
Now that we all know that, sure, we can finally do a topic. Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a good start.
Yes.
All right. Well, we've got a couple of topics here, and once again, as Sawale said, if you have a topic, please put one into either. I suppose you could do it in the chat, but if you could go to don'tworrywednesday.com, and don'tworrywednesday.com has a very specific submission tool set that is optimal for our procedures, and I would highly recommend, not just for the sake of the fun of using tool which gets us the information, but for your own sake and the sake of your well-being and finding wisdom, it might be, and just getting some extra perspectives on life. I think it's a great thing to do. We didn't say the opening disclaimer, so welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a show about problems and suffering and all sorts of different things that are going on in your life, and our best attempt to be a friend, to walk along that journey with you for a short period of time, to give you a little bit of extra perspective, give you some experiences in our own lives and others around us, and aim to make life a little bit better. Even if it's not necessarily any less suffering, it can still be better a lot of times. And honestly, most of the time you guys know what to do with your problems. You just need a little encouragement. So we're here to do that as well. We aren't professional psychologists, psychiatrists, or anything along those lines, but we do from time to time recommend them. And we would never shame anyone for visiting one, because we think that they're pretty great. They're a pretty great profession. So if you're here for mental health, I would recommend seeking out someone even better than us. But until then, enjoy the show. Is Mianglios here? I didn't.
Here.
Mianglios
Hey, James.
was here earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
So wait, so wait a minute. So you're saying that when Zay flew over my house, it was in Microsoft Flight Sim, and does that use like Google Earth or something, and
Really?
then like so you can actually see the stuff or whatever? Because that'd be kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
Zay, you're still here. Did you fly over my house in Microsoft Flight Simulator or in real life?
Or both at the same time.
Or, maybe.
That'd be kind of funny. You see a pilot and you enter you enter the pilot's room and you see he's like playing on his little game device, and you're like, what are you playing? He's like, oh, a flight simulator. You're literally already flying a plane. Yeah, but the simulator's more fun.
Dang, you have the video? Can you see my house?
Oh.
You'd have been up really high.
Yeah. I'm sure the visuals were not very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Mianglio says you can do someone else's topic, though, if there's one. Okay. Because I'm gonna be multitasking, and then in about 45 minutes, I'm gonna be playing games and catching up with a friend. Okay. Well, we could put it off until next time, if you'd prefer that. We do have one here from Saule and one from an anonymous. So, if you're already busy and you're taking the time to just be here with us, I think that's really awesome, and I don't want to press your brain to its limits by talking directly at you the whole time. So,
right.
While you're trying to do other stuff. So we'll do yours next time if that works better for you.
Yes.
Fighting off a sneeze right here. Okay. Sounds good. Awesome.
Don't
bite it. Yeah. Don't let it come through. Okay. Saule, you do have a topic in here. Despite having plenty of other things on your mind, there is another one here too. I don't know if you want to cover this today. If you also want to opt out of having us talk about your topic, yeah, you do have to. I don't remember what it was. Okay, I can remind you quickly. We titled it Career Panic. Career Panic. I'm sure
Career Panic.
Career Panic.
Emphasis on the rear.
Actually, you titled it Career Panic yourself, and we used it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually we make the title.
Mm-hmm. Bless you.
It may be more relevant now. All right. Well, maybe we do it.
Okay. Great.
What do you think?
That sounds fantastic. Let's do that.
All right. Yeah, let's dive right in. Both feet.
Both. That's right. Don't use your head.
Wait, if you dive in, you're not
What?
going feet first. If you dive.
Dive in.
Wow.
Well, no, no.
Dive in.
No, you can.
Both.
Yeah, you're real flexible. You got your feet in front of your head.
You
And
just be in the pike position when you're, I don't think you would score very well.
What
if
not
you
to do.
Remain.
Yeah. Okay. I am not a water sport Olympian, so I don't know much about that, but I do know it doesn't
A
sound
water
like
sport
the
Olympian.
good plan. Yeah, is that not what we call them?
I'm not a water sport Olympian either. But I was on the swimming and diving team, so I learned a little bit of diving.
You're closer to one than I am
Yeah.
by experience.
I didn't dive. I was a swimmer. But yeah.
Yeah. Had a lot more
I had to watch diving.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Well, I had to. Like, what am I going to do? You just sit there.
Close your eyes.
Well, and especially like when you're one of the captains, like my senior year, I was one of the team captains. And so like, you got to be there and cheer on your team and like be the, be a leader, help encourage and stuff. And so, yeah, you got to pay attention.
That's right. We are not professional water sports people. Thank you, Saule, for clearing that.
That's right.
Important. All right. Well, I'm going to go transition over to the topic. We've got this from Saule.
It's Jesse.
And
hey, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse. Nice to see you. It is titled Career Panic. And it reads as follows. Starts out with, I think this topic goes somewhere. I hope. That's beautiful. That feels like me. I have been blessed with a pretty good job. It's frequently not easy, but usually easygoing and pays really well for my age. Unfortunately, my job is not in the field that I really want to be in. It's boring/frustrating because I have a mind for design, but I'm in maintenance. I want to get into a field of engineering design, but I'm afraid that I may pigeonhole myself into being a maintenance engineer because that's all I have experience in. I know that I'll have to move states for a job in design. I have no idea where I would have to go, so it's hard to plan for. I don't know how long I can wait or what I can do in the meantime to help myself be marketable in a market that was years of experience within the field in order to get into that field. Sorry, I'm totally slaughtering this. Forgive my tiredness. I understand it. I hope everyone else did. I've been working where I am in maintenance for just over 2 years, saving aggressively for the past 1 year to buy a house, and wanting to move on from my job for the past 8 months or so, despite having interesting projects at work. My plan has been to stick it out until I can actually afford down payments on a small house, which I thought would be 1 more year, but is looking like 3 to 5 more years. My current boss is trying to invent a position for me to give me a promotion where I would do exactly my current job tasks, but get paid a lot more with a different title. So I'll be disappointing him if I leave. I think that's why he's trying to make this position, to keep me. But I also don't feel like I'm good at maintenance engineering. I know how to design something, but eventually poorly maintained and broken stuff from 80 years ago is very hard and not fun. I'm just panicking and lost. I'm trying to design little things and research design and manufacturing related things in my free time to occupy myself. But that's not work experience, the hobby. I don't know where I'm going to go or where I'm going with this, but it's a worry. It's a Wednesday. So I guess I'm allowed to worry. I'm not allowed to worry. Yeah, there we go. But here it is, in this very long run-on sentence with extra commas, because that's the state of my mind when I'm thinking about this. Well, that's the state of my mind always. I always use extra commas.
You use the most commas ever. Like Ryan is the comma king.
I'm a comma king.
Comma
Comma,
king.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, this is a great topic, and I think there's a lot to appreciate here. I think obviously you have your life ahead of you, and it's always worrisome when you're thinking, well, these are the blessings I have now, and am I willing to dump them and sacrifice them, not knowing if I'll get what I'm trying to achieve, or do I keep where I'm safe and things are working out, but just not, isn't hitting all the right notes for me? Do I stay here because it's more secure? And I think that's an important question that we all face, all sorts of different ways throughout our life, especially when it comes to careers, especially when it comes to what am I going to be doing what am I going to be spending most of my time on in life? Because that's really what a job is, right? I mean, yes, a job makes you money and keeps you able to have a house and so on and so forth. But I mean, some jobs, people are working so hard that they don't ever even get to go into their own house and live and experience their own house and the joys that it is meant to bring them. They're literally just working all day long. And sometimes they have to fly around from place to place. And then finally they come home, and then it's like for a week, and they get to be there in their own house for like a couple of days out of that week. And, so you have to think about those things. It's like money isn't everything. Money's important, but money isn't the end all be all. It's a tool. So I guess the question is like, what do you want to spend all this time you've been given on Earth? What do you want to do with it? Right? Because you have that choice. What are you going to do with it? And right now, I'm guessing you're probably in a position, based on what I'm reading here, where you're not necessarily, you don't necessarily have a super tight married relationship or something that keeps you where you're at. And so you're kind of quite a free person to go about and so on. So, I don't know. I think this is a really great topic, and I think where it's likely will lead, because we're both idealists and people who have made risks to go after things that we believed that we wanted to do with our lives. And I feel like the reward of that is a type of joy that you don't get if you don't do it. So I guess really it seems to me that you're just asking for some encouragement and life experience on this, because again, you know who you're talking to. But yeah, I'm going to give it over to Joe. Joe has a lot more experience in all of this than I do. Joe has definitely been a hard worker, and he spent a lot of time doing a lot of things. Some of them he probably did not enjoy at all. Some of them that paid well. Some of them he gave up, even though he didn't want to, and all sorts of different life experiences. So I think it's worth giving it over to Joe and letting him share his wisdom, which is, I think, in this case, a lot better than mine. So take it away, Joe.
Well, Ryan, I appreciate that. And Beans are welcome. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
Beans,
Tomato.
Yeah,
Nice
I
to
noticed
see
you.
too.
Nice to see you guys.
Yep, you guys look great, and I'm glad you're here.
Delicious,
And,
even.
So Saule, yeah. Oh, Neonsai says if I wanted to have financial stability, I'd get a job anywhere. And Saule says that's a good point. And it is a good point, because like a lot of times when we do stuff for financial stability, it's kind of rare to actually like it. At least that's been in my experience, right? Like,
it seems to be the common experience among people.
Right. A lot of people, you get into your job and you get frustrated, right? It's not what you exactly wanted to do, but it's a path to something. And so here, well, it's a way to make some money and it's a pathway to something more meaningful to you,
Mhm.
right? So, I don't think, okay, so I understand you're kind of a little bit stressed about it, but I don't think you need to be. And I see Tomato, you said you've pigeonholed yourself into hospitality. I can tell you from experience, wherever you pigeonhole yourself, you're not stuck there. It just might be painful to get out and to do something else, you know?
Mm,
I've done so many
that's true.
different jobs, so many. Like since I've known Ryan, and I had jobs before that.
Hmm.
I had a bunch of different jobs before that. And then, I met Ryan when I was a band instrument repair technician, and that's what I had trained to do, but I didn't do that because I really wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I always wanted to be a musician, and so that's where I was always going. And I went to college and I did all this stuff, and then I got a job at a music store, which was a great environment for me. I was around musicians, we were all just, so we all think like musicians. We can deal with with all our little idiosyncrasies because musicians are weird. And, so it's just great to be in that environment. And so I started off there in sales. And then I decided I wanted to get married. And so I was looking for something a little bit more career oriented, and I went and talked to the people at the company, talked to the general manager, and I said, "Hey, so here's my situation. What is there anything here that I could do that's kind of more career oriented?" And he gave me two options. He said you could either be a school service representative, which is a guy who drives around to all the different schools in a certain area and, talks to band directors all day and does that. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to band directors all day. And then he's like, well, the other option is to go into repair because that is, that's a career move right there. That would be a full-time job with decent pay, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, all right, I'll do that and so I did instrument repair, and I'm still around musicians, but I didn't do it because I really wanted to do instrument repair.
But you're good
I
at
did it
it.
because I was getting married. And what'd you say,
I
Ryan?
said, but you were good at it.
I was good at it. I got really good at it. And part of that is just my attention to detail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Saule, you have you and I are similar personality types, attentive to detail. I know your engineering mind, and so it's, you can take that and put it into anything and really excel.
Mm-hmm.
So instrument repair wasn't like the thing I wanted to do really, but it paid the bills, got us a small place, and but it was in the wrong town. So then I quit that job and had nothing and moved back to my hometown per my wife's request. Request is putting it lightly. It was a little bit more than a request. But anyway, so had nothing and like came back, and this was right during the mortgage crisis in 2008. Anybody remember that?
I
It was
remember
a
it.
long time ago. Yeah, so
I remember it.
everything like the economy just
Well,
went into the toilet. Manufacturing was leaving everywhere. It was just ridiculous. And I moved to Lansing, Michigan.
yeah, my mom was in the real estate business, so I got to hear all about it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so it was crazy. Like the economy was absolutely in the toilet, and I left a solid, secure job in the middle of that and had nothing. And so did anything I could to make some money. I found door-to-door sales positions. I ended up, and I've had a few of those, and those didn't really make good money. I wasn't the type of person that was assertive and aggressive enough to like get somebody to buy something from their doorstep, you know? Oh yeah, 2009 was a tough year.
You're too good at reading the room is the problem. Like they want me to get out of here.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
true. Probably.
good salesmen can't read the room about them. People go, they just don't. Maybe they can read the room, they just don't listen. Or like
Yeah.
you're like trying to like have them leave, but they just go on and on. Yeah, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then you buy something from them because you're like, I don't know how to get the guys to leave. So yeah, sure, yeah, that sounds great. I'll pay 20
Yeah.
bucks for that. Yeah, see ya.
Yeah. So anyway, so I did that for a while, and then I got a job at a car wash, and this is a very entry level, like something a job you would get when you're in high school. And here I am, an adult, trying to make rent payments and support a young family, a wife and a 1-year-old child, and I'm working at a car wash,
Mm.
and that was hard. That was so hard. That was so much work, and it was crazy. And like, so from there, from the car wash, I did IT, sales and service type stuff. From there, what did I do after that? Oh, that was the one where I left and was actually unemployed for a couple months, and I started doing cable installs for data cable. A neighbor of mine had his own company that installed, Cat 5 cable into businesses and offices and houses and wherever, like, and so I started working with him doing that. I got a job working as a coder. It's not a computer coder though. It was I would find products for the AC Nielsen
Ah,
company to do
right.
ratings so they could track all that kind of stuff on that. Then I had a job as a stock boy at a grocery store at the same time that I had that job working for the AC Nielsen company. And then I got a third job at that time where I started my property inspections business. So that was not really a job, it was a business. But then that started to grow, and I left my stock boy job, and then I did inspections and the AC Nielsen company, and then I left the AC Nielsen company in 2014, and then I've since then I've just been an entrepreneur. We started Black Static and Swerve in 2010 to kind of give you the timeline on some of that. Um, but Ryan and I did our first project in 2009, that hard year for your family. And now, okay, so I did property inspections for almost a decade, and then at the end of that, I was working full time for BSS. And now in this past year, we also launched a cabinet making company. And look, dude, I'm a musician, but I'm also an entrepreneur. And I kind of caught that entrepreneurial bug
Mm.
in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And, where I was like, you know what? I really just don't like working for another person. I don't like being told where to be, what to do, like having my schedule mapped out for me by somebody else. I want to be in charge of this. I want to have control of my time. So then when my kids have stuff going on, my family had stuff going on, like I could put that in as the top priority, and then I could work my work schedule around it. And so entrepreneurship really, really, stood out to me, and I was like, okay, I really want that level of freedom, even though you still got to work really, really hard and you still got to put in a lot of time. At least I'm in charge of when that time is. Does that make sense? And so that was really important to me. So that's why I ended up going that route. So now here we are. I'm an owner of BSS, and which is a media production and publishing company, and I'm also an owner of Brotherhood Cabinets and Woodworking, which is, custom cabinets and all that kind of stuff. So but I'm a musician. So in all of this, what would you thought? Have I pigeonholed myself? The only time I guess I could have possibly told myself I was pigeonholing myself was when I was a band instrument repair technician. And no, not pigeonholed. Here's the point. You can do anything. You really can. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, but we got to find a way to provide for ourselves. We got to, there's all kinds of different things to consider. So just because you have to do maintenance right now, okay, you're in a good spot. What I would probably do is start looking for engineering design firms. They say you need to have such and such years experience in this field in order to get into the field. That's honky. Depending on who you're going to talk to at that company, if you bring in your years of experience in, engineering maintenance, there are a lot of people that would count that, and you have the knowledge. And if you have some stuff that you've been designing, you can show them some of that work. And unless you're dealing with a really closed off, HR department somewhere that's like strictly by the book, and they say, well, you gotta, we said 2 years of experience, but a lot of times, man, if you get in with the owners or one of the managers or something like that, like they're going to cut you some slack if you have the skill that they need in order to, fill that position. All that other credentialist garbage is garbage. Because, like, seriously, I own a company, I own 2 companies, and if I'm going to hire somebody, if I'm going to bring somebody in to work for me, well, yeah, they got to have the skill or at least be trainable. But more importantly, they need to kind of mesh well with the team and not be causing a big bunch of problems there. And when you get all these people like with this credentialist, well, you have to have this certain degree. Now, some professions you have to have a degree, but really you got to have skill. And sometimes you need licenses. Sometimes you got to go take some classes and get licensed for whatever. But more than that is like, who are you as a person? If I'm hiring you to do a job, I'm looking at that. I can teach you a lot of the stuff, but I don't know. What I would do is just look for engineering design firms and then just start reaching out to them. Don't take at face value, don't close the door because their website or their whatever says you have to have 2 years of experience. I would encourage you, still make contact. Even if it says you need to have a master's degree and they say, and you only have a bachelor's degree or whatever, I would still make contact. Just be ready, like you might get the door shut in your face because of that, that little qualification or whatever that might happen. But if depending on the size of the company and the structuring of the company and all that stuff is to just kind of weed out people that aren't serious. And when they talk to you, it's funny because sometimes, all these little qualifications and requirements, they're kind of there so they can let somebody down they don't want. Because why else would they say, oh, this is an entry-level position. You have to have 2 years of experience. What kind of nonsense is that? How am I going to have any experience in an entry-level position? That's silly, right? But they say that because then they interview you, and if they don't like you, then they can point to, oh, yeah, you don't have 2 years of experience. They don't have to say, oh, I just don't like you. So there's all these little games that people play, and it's just kind of silly. So what I would do, honestly, is I just start looking for those firms and reach out to as many as you possibly can. You can start to figure out, like once you kind of get that ball rolling, I think you'll be fine. But in the meantime, you can keep doing what you're doing and just continue on from there. But don't ever feel like, oh, well, I've been doing this job for 5 years and so therefore I'm pigeonholed in it. No. You're never pigeonholed into anything. You can recreate who you are at any point in time. It might not be easy. You might go through some struggle. You might have some lean financial times, and it might be really hard and stressful, but you do not have to be pigeonholed. And sometimes that's the thing we need to do in order to break out of a unsatisfying career. Sometimes you got to explode your world. That's what I did. I'm still alive. I got some gray whiskers to prove all the stress that I've been through.
Badge of honor.
You know? Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, I don't know, that's what I got.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I just want to encourage you, Saule. You can find a way.
Mm.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But I would not, based on the experience I had, I would not leave the secure job you have, the secure income you have, without finding something else to swing to.
Yeah. That would be
Look
most
for a
wise.
job, put out resumes, put out applications, do all that kind of stuff, but keep that job. It's so much easier to get any job when you already have a job. It's a lot harder when you have nothing and you're starting over to get some kind of a job. And then you start at a fast food place and you work your way up, like something like that, which is doable, but it might take a little bit longer. You've already got something that's secure that pays pretty well. They're trying to promote you to pay you more. They obviously like you. That's great. You're finding the work unfulfilling. Go look for other work, but keep that. I would not leave that before you find something new. So, okay, yeah, I want to get a start date for a new job before I leave my company.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's the best way you can do it. Yeah, then you can just swing on through. So, yeah.
Nice.
On to you, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, I'll do my best. I mean, I second everything Joe was saying. I think that's the right option. That's the right way to go at it. I don't know. Is Jesse still here? If Jesse was here, Jesse had some experiences in this. Jesse is, he does computer technology, right? He's IT, and he's our IT guy for Black Static and Swerve. But he also, he's had jobs this whole time in IT. When I met him, he wasn't in IT. He was a what do you call that? He was a caretaker.
He's working for a retirement home or something.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't quite that, but it was something like that. It was a mentally disabled home for adults, is what it was. And that's what he was doing when I met him. Well, not really. What he was doing when I met him was he was in school, because technically speaking, we went to the same school, but he was 4 years ahead of me, so I never really got to see him. Anyways, nevertheless, so he wanted to go into IT, and he took a lot of years of college, and he found it really hard to get a position, and so he went back for 2 more years, and then he found it hard to get still found it hard to get a position, and then he went in for I think even another half a year or something. He just kept going. And and recently he's been learning Python, and now he knows Python code more than anything he's ever done in code. But he didn't know exactly what he wanted to do, but he figured it out along the way by doing a lot of different jobs, and he figured out he really liked administrative work. And so that's what he's doing now. Now, I don't think he's doing exactly what he wants to be doing, but he's moved from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. Over the past many years, he's jumped positions a lot, and has kind of got himself into a position where, he makes more money than the rest of us here at Black Static and Swerve doing his job, and he enjoys it, and he does a great job at it, and I think that's awesome for him. And I don't think he's at his destination point by any means. I think he will continue to hop. He will continue to try other endeavors. Right now, he's helping someone make a video game, and we're going to see where that goes. And if that goes well, then maybe that's where he'll apply himself next. But I think what's interesting about that is he's had hard times. He's had times where he got laid off, and so did a bunch of other people in the tech field. But he's had times where he's been laid off and had to struggle. But generally, he, like I said, he's continued to have made more money than the rest of us at Black Static and Swerve for the last many years, like last 10 years probably. And that's because he wanted to pursue this technology, coding, administrative work, and so on and so forth, and really put himself into it. He was willing to invest time into college and get those extra little pieces of information, or just having the ability to showcase, like, hey, I took these classes, I know what I'm doing, I've been to like this many years of college, et cetera, et cetera. And that has bumped him up. And so that's the route he took. And so I don't have anything against, if you want to spend more time while you are doing the job you're doing, take on like a half a credit in a course that's engineering that helps bump you up to that next step. If that's something you find that is going to work for you, if it's going to get you somewhere. I completely agree with Joe. I mean, as well, as terms of many times you don't, I mean, they say you need this experience, but you can't get the experience unless you have a job, and all the jobs say you need the experience. So there's no way to get it, right? And that's a reality, and it's silly. And so it is like Joe said, when Jesse finally got his job that he kind of had been aiming for, he had 0 years experience, and they said, you need 2. But because he was already in the company, they said, okay, we'll bump you up. You've been working hard. You've been doing well. We'll just change you over to this job. So what I mean to say is he found his way there. And it wasn't by, it was basically an inside job, right? Because he proved that he can work with other people in that team. And then they said, we need this position filled. And they put him in. And then he finally got the job. And then he was able to get the 2 years experience that everyone says you need to get. And then from there, everything opened up, and he said, well, I can apply to all those places. And they'll actually accept me. So you might have to, Sally, I don't know what's possible on that end, but there's potential you could squeeze where you work right now, if they want to keep you really bad, which is great. Someone wants to keep you, it means you're not just great at your job, but you're someone they enjoy being around, right? And I can definitely see that, Sally. You're such a easy person to be around. You've got just a great positive energy about you, and you're really easygoing, and it's fantastic. So I'm not surprised whatsoever that they want to keep you. I remember when I worked at Taco Bell, which is not it's Taco Bell. It's not an amazing job, but they wanted to keep me there. When I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave in this many months, and they're like, no, you can't do that. I can't replace you. They literally said to me and it wasn't even in a position where it was kind of awful that they did this, because I wasn't alone with them, but they're like, I could replace anybody here, but I can't replace you, because no one here knows how to be you the way that you are. It's because I know how to work with people. I can calm them. I can I can enter a room and shape everybody else's energy around me if I apply myself, right? And that's a talent that people, it's a talent because you work at it and it's a skill, but I imagine it's something similar for you, right? Maybe not exactly, but something similar. And so my point is, of course, they don't want to let you go. So if you could stay there and put yourself into a position like your higher up is trying to do for you, that in some small way includes the titles that you need to get to your next job, that'd be awesome. I mean, you could work it out with them and say, I'm willing to I'm more than willing. I would be happy to stay here for 2 years extra if I can be doing some of this work, if I can incorporate this creative engineering kind of aspect into the job, because then after 2 years are up, I also get the opportunity to go into the career that I want to, or maybe even make that career happen here in this area, because there is that potential. A business is not a flat line, right? It grows and it diminishes, it changes, right? I mean, we have Black Satin and Swear, if it's not a prime example of a big company, but suddenly we're doing cabinet work, right? We're also
BSS is not doing cabinet work.
Oh, right, that's true.
That's
BSS is not doing,
company.
but a sister company is doing cabinet work. But it's part of the same group of people, the same businessmen, right? And so, I mean, you have to keep an open mind to that. I mean, businesses change. I mean, this is a silly example, but like Pepsi, they were in the business of being rust removal chemical producers, but now they're entirely known as.
Now it's a beverage.
Now it's a beverage. They make all sorts of different beverages.
Their rust removal solvent became a beverage.
That's right. That's what happened. So, but yeah, they do more than drinks too. I mean, their company's huge, and I don't think they're going to stop getting into more and more things. And they pull employees over from one thing to another thing because they're competent, and it's like, it's great. So my point is, if you think it's possible to work where you're working now and somehow slide in those 2 years of experience, even if it's minor, that would be a big win for you. And it could be a win for the people that you're working with. It might feel a little underhanded and be like, well, I'm kind of using them to get these things so that I can leave them. But the reality is they want you and they are asking you to stay, and they would be more than happy to have you for 2 more years than to have you for 0 more years, right? So Pepsi's like rocket fuel. That's funny. Can't keep engineers from drinking it. It tastes. That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think maybe you have some options there, but if you don't, it's okay. But yeah, honestly, I can't really offer too much other than experiences of my own and the people around me in life. And I think it's like Joe said, you're never pigeonholed. You know, I remember like some of the earliest topics I ever got in Don't Worry Wednesday, back when it was with the Bailey Cat, were about being in a position where they're like, you've got people who are in high school graduating, and they're like, well, you know, I'm losing my friends, and and that's the natural way things tend to be, but it's like, I'm losing my friends and I'll never get them back, and it's really sad, and so on and so forth. And it's like, that's true. You'll get more friends. You'll find new people that you're going to enjoy in a special way that you'll never have enjoyed with the other old friends, right? And sorry, it's a hard topic to talk about because of maybe recent experiences for you. So I'm sorry to bring that up. That's just the first example that I thought of. But the reality is, in life, I don't think that you're ever stuck. You just feel stuck. Life is constantly changing.
That's true.
You're constantly changing. And I have a song. I don't even know if it ever came out or what. I don't remember which song it is. But it says something in it. I say, oh, wait. What song is that? Oh, I think it's Pray For Me. Yeah, that song never came out. Anyways, I think it's that one. It doesn't matter. And there's this little quote that says something. No, okay, I figured out what song it was. It was, sorry, it doesn't matter. It's going to come out in Criminal Idol Season 2. So you'll hear it later. Okay, anyways. So the quote is something like, a lot of times we think change is really hard. But in reality, we're constantly changing. Right? And so we think change is hard. We think it's scary and risky and dangerous. And hey, There's that's true. But every day you wake up and you get to decide who you are. Every day you wake up and you live your life, you take your actions, you think the way you think, you decide to think differently about some things. You can choose to be stubborn, you can choose to be humble, right? You're making constant choices.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to, like, change. I think that the line is something like, change is inevitable. And you get to pick who you get to be every single step of the way. I can't remember.
Change is inevitable. Growth is optional.
Yeah, that's true. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Yeah, quite true. I can't remember the exact quote, but I liked it, but now it's lost to me at the moment because I can't think. But I think you get the idea. And we've probably sold it more than we need to. But anyhow, I think you're in a really great position. And yeah, it's of course you're gonna have a career panic. Like you're gonna be panicking. But regardless of the panic, you're in a great position, right? Like to be blessed with the position of like, I've got a good job, and you know this, right? And you've mentioned this in your topic. Like, I've got a good job, pays pretty well. It's not what I want to be doing with my life. Okay, you kind of know what you want to do with your life? Okay, that's a pretty big blessing because there's a lot of people who are trying to figure that out. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm older than you.
So that's cool. And then you're like, you know, of course it's scary. It's always scary to take a risk. But in this life, you're going to be doing something with your time. And that's the life you're going to be living. And I think it's absolutely worth making sacrifices for things that are worth doing, right? Obviously. I once heard someone say, I think I really liked the line. It was something like, now Joe could probably correct me on this, but it's something like sacrifice is the production of sacred things. Is that which how do you remember how the line goes? If not, that's okay.
I think that's it. I think sacrifice is nothing more than the production of sacred things.
Yeah, that's right. Sacrifice is no more than the production of sacred things. In your relationships, you make sacrifice, right? You make sacrifices in your relationships. Why? Because relationships are a sacred thing, and they're worth making sacrifices for.
Right.
Your career, what you do with your life, can be a sacred thing, right? Your time is sacred, right? And you can use it for evil things. You can use it for holy things. You can use it for mindless things. You can use it to just float, all sorts of different stuff. You can use it for joy and entertainment, for etc. But your time is sacred. And so I think one of the best things you can ever do is like be honest with yourself about like, well, what kind of life do I want to live? I need to live that life. And what's the route to that? If I need to make sacrifices for it, then it's worth making those sacrifices. Worth putting the time and effort and losing in a lot of things to get the thing that I think is important and sacred. You have a lot to offer the world. You've got something that you're passionate about, and it's creative. It solves issues potentially, depending on what job you end up in. I mean, you're engineering things that could potentially be saving lives or just making people happy, or just providing a little bit more comfort or joy in people's lives, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And so to be in that position, I think it's worth making a sacrifice. I would say, like, for me, it's like me and my wife share a very common opinion about money, or perspective about money, I guess. It's that it's a good tool, but at the same time, it's not worth living my life for. Right? It's not what's going to make every decision that I make shouldn't be based upon, well, what's going to be best financial, what's going to be most wise financially. It's like, if I thought like that, I don't know how much time I would have for prayer. If I thought like that, I don't know, like, would I even go to church? Or would I be working like crazy? It's like, you go to church and then like you give the person that walks by, like, you give them some money because you care about what they're doing at the church, right? And so then it's like, well, okay, well, hold on now. Like, we need that money, blah, 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 blah. If that's my attitude about money, I've got a big problem, right? A very big problem. I'm limited. I'm actually a slave to the money. I'm no longer free. All my time is eaten up by this constant thought about, like, oh no, but what's financially better for me? Blah, 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 blah. And that's not a happy way to live, because there are things that I could do with my time that don't produce money, but they're certainly good. They're certainly beautiful things to do, right? And so I think it's important to pursue, like, it's not an uncommon phrase, pursue the highest good, right? I think the bishop Robert Barron, who says that, pursue the highest good. And for most people here, the highest good is God, of course. But then there are things that are still God ordered that are the highest good, because they're godly things. And that could be your position at work, right? Sometimes you have to make sacrifices and realize, hey, you know what? Maybe I wish I was doing this other career path, but what I'm doing right now is actually better. You can find yourself in that position. Like, it's no shame for a father to work hard to provide food for his family, doing something he doesn't really want to be doing. That's a sacrifice. That's a beautiful thing, right? That's a sacred thing. And so you could look at both objectively in that order and say, well, what am I doing right now? How beautiful is it compared to what my potential is? What was I made for? These are hard questions, but I think if you can find the answers to them, they will free you. Because if you're willing to, like, I don't know what the best word is. If you kind of understand who you want to be in life, what you want out of it, and it's not necessarily like job oriented, you're really freed up to take actions that are the highest good, rather than being sucked into a mentality of just trying to float by with your finances. Because a lot of times the reality is you're just going to float by with your finances either way.
Right.
For most people in life. And that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'd say it's when you kind of get yourself together and you're like, well, this is the highest good. I'm going to go down that path. And I don't care what, what I lose along the way, because those things I'm losing aren't sacred. They're just things that are tempting or whatever in the way. I think it's really freeing. And it helps clear up a lot of that panic. It helps clear up a lot of that worry, because it's just like, I'm like, I don't think there's a single bit of worry once you get on that page. Like, oh no, what am I, it's like the worries are gone. You're just like, I got to do what I got to do. Who cares? It's like, I'm aiming for something and I'm going to go there. And along the way, I'm going to hit some stumbling blocks. There's going to be some curves in the path. I'm going to have to take them. I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to get, I'm going to have to fall down quite a few times. I'm going to have to, suffer. But at the same time, that was going to happen. All of that stuff's going to happen anyways. So
right.
It's like no matter what path you take, that's going to happen. And those are all good things because they show that there's something valuable. But it's, if you can clear your mind to just go like, well, I'm going to pursue what I believe is the best, what I can apply myself to get the ultimate best good out of myself in life and for those around me and for God and for myself and my family and so on. And it's like, that's not necessarily finances, right? I think it's important to know, right? What's best for my family isn't having the most finances. Because if I'm unable to actually have a relationship with my family, who knows like what could happen there, right? Like that's not a great position to be in. Your family is more important to have a relationship with than to just send money to, right? And unfortunately, I think Joe lived that time and that life out of not that he wanted to, but he was forced to. And I think that's something that Joe knows is true. Because when he spends time with his kids, it's a beautiful time, and he gets to have an impact on their life that's far more impactful than just sending money and saying, hey, it's like whatever. There's so much more value in the relationship that you develop than the money that you can send, and that's always going to be true. And so, yeah, I think be smart, be prudent. Figure out how to get where you're trying to go. And you don't have to lose your money away along the way. You don't have to just quit your job, right? Like you already stated, yeah, your plan is to just stick with it and look for other options along the way. Or, maybe potentially you can work something out where you stay there for 2 years or whatever it is, and you're getting that experience that you're looking for, at least in some tiny bit. Just enough so that you can say, well, yeah, I kind of technically did that job for 2 years, so I have experience. If that's what's needed. But yeah, I think obviously, you knew what we were going to say going in, I think, right? But anyhow, that's what I have. I'm just seconding everybody else and just trying to help comfort you in the panic area. To say like, that stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, it does matter, but it doesn't matter so much that it should guide your life and your decisions, right? Money is important. It should not guide your life, right?
Right.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Money is important. Don't let it be so important that it guides your life. Let things that you know are good, like God and your talents that you can apply yourself even better to like higher degrees, right? If that's what you feel you should be doing, then I'd suggest that that's probably worth more than the money you could make doing what you're doing now. Right? And so, yeah, that was just a really long winded statement. That's really all I got. is think about it, and be honest, and then throw your worries away and be like, well, I've made up my mind. I can see what the better option is. How could I not go for that? It's like, there are many times in my life. I remember I used to quite often counsel with my brother because my brother's really good at looking at things very logically. We're like, I've got these options, and then he just kind of lays it out, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, that's the better option. And then from then on, I'm just like, I don't care what happens. I'm carefree, basically, and I'm going to go in that direction. And whatever happens, happens, and that we already talked about it, and that happens, and it's fine. It's like you make up your mind and you go there. And I think that's like, you don't have to worry after that because you know what's right. Right? You don't have to worry about that because you know that you're not going to be punished in heaven for taking this option that you strongly believe was the option you were potentially in some part made for. It's like, yeah, you got a clear conscience when you do that. Because if you don't do that, I think it's really hard to have a clear conscience. If you go like, well, like in your position and you're like, well, I gave up the opportunity to really apply myself in life and do like my best and my most good. I gave it up to just kind of make sure I had financial stability. If you say that to yourself, you're not going to have a clear conscience, I don't think, right? You're just going to maybe, but
you're cultivating a pretty serious midlife crisis at that point too.
yeah, that's true. That's really true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very true. So, yeah, I think it really clears the air to just say it as it is, figure it out, and be like, well, this is the right option, or at least the option that I believe has the most good in it, and that's settled. Everything from there is easy sailing. Once you decide that's the case, it's easy sailing from there, because then you know where you're going, and that you're going somewhere good. And that's what keeps a conscious feeling clear and at peace. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I got. I hope that's somehow helpful, Saule. I mean, you already know all this stuff, and I know you already know all this stuff, but I'm just trying to re-echo it into your own head, I guess. But
yeah, Ryan, I love that you were describing, like the importance of where money stands, and so I appreciate that, because it helps keep your priorities in order, because money is important.
It is.
And when you have people depending on you and you don't have it, it is really destructive. The money isn't destructive. It, like when you don't have it and you have people depending on you, it destroys things, and so it can be really, really difficult.
That's, well, that happens when your relationship is founded upon the premise that you're going to be one giving them money. And so that's kind of somehow part of your relationship with them is the money aspect. And you don't have it.
But
it's like, well, then your relationship is there.
That's part of it, yes. But also there's the stress.
Oh, yeah. Well,
when you're under that degree of stress.
Yeah, okay. I see.
It can really cause a lot of problems, right? And so that's why, you're going about this the right way, Saule, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna stick with what I have. I'm gonna keep it until I find something else. There's one thing I thought of that might help you, and that is that as you look through some of these design firms, and maybe there's maybe there are forums, like engineering design forums, and people who are in that position that you want. If you can find some of them to talk to, whether it's, you get a job interview at one of those places and you're just talking to like one of the designers or whatever, or you get in a forum with some of these other guys or whatever, that could actually be a really good thing. If you can find an online community of design engineers that, shows their stuff and whatnot, and people are all like talking about whatever, like to ask somebody who's in that position, hey, look, I'm doing, what is it? It's maintenance. I'm doing engineering maintenance. I really am good at design and I want to get into that. What would be the pathway for me to get from where I am now to where I want to go, to where you are, essentially, right? Like you, as a design engineer, that's what I want to be doing. What's my path? Because I'm assuming that the education you got in college, Saule, is adequate for being a design engineer. And if that's the case, then that covers a lot of those bases right now. But so what I would do is try and find we overlook this step so much.
Really smart.
As humans, we do this all the time. I'm going to go figure out a career and I'm going to go talk to a high school teacher about it.
They don't know that career.
They don't know. No, I'm sorry. But, and I mean my guidance counselor, right? My high school guidance counselor. He wasn't going to be able to advise me into a career. Unless it was his. Right? But if you find somebody who's in a position you want to be, and you can ask them, how can I get where you are? I already have all this experience. See, you are already a step ahead because you got the education. You have a job in engineering. So it's in a related field. So you're way more steps closer than somebody who's just like, maybe still in high school or whatever, and they're looking at this as a career path. But if you can find some of those people and talk to them, that would be so, I think that would clear the air a lot, because then you would have a path rather than just shooting in the dark looking for a job somewhere. You can talk to some of these guys and get a little bit of guidance and figure out the path you want to be on. Like my son is getting really, really good at basketball. And he's great. He wants to play in college. He's in 7th grade now. He wants to play basketball in college. And so he's got coaches, like not only, so he's got his coach at the school, and now he's also on the AAU team. I don't even know what AAU stands for, but it's like a travel team, right? And he's got like a much higher level coaching there, and then some private coaching from people who have played in college. And from like with those people, they can tell him the path. They can tell him what it's going to take to get where he wants to go, because they've been there. If he just goes talks to his high school guidance counselor about, hey, I want to play basketball in college, they're going to tell him, oh, well, you better get good grades. Make sure you get that AP biology. And I'm sorry, they're not stupid people, but they just are inexperienced. They don't know. They don't know how to get where, and it bothers me. Like the whole education system bothers me because of that. Like you have all these people that they've been in schools their entire lives. They started in school, they went to school, they stayed in school, and then they went to college, which is more school, and then they got a job in a school. They've been in school the whole time. They're going to teach me how to get a job in the private sector? No. They don't know squat. Sorry. I'm going to get a job as a teacher. Right? So the point is, behind all this rant, and I don't mean to offend anybody who's in education. I'm sorry. I love you. But the point is, find somebody who is where you want to be and ask them. Whether it means you're in a forum or an online community, or as you're looking for a job in that field, and maybe you're, who knows, like just apply all these places. Maybe not even for obviously the chance you get a job, and if you do get one, great. But if not, just to get the interview, to have the time with the person who's already there in that position that you can ask this question to. And I tell you what, people, when they're in that position, unless they're complete jerks, are going to light up at that question. When you ask somebody for advice like that, they will light up, and they'll be very excited. Like, you can be like, how did you get here? I really want to get to this point. Like, and this is where I am. How did you get here? Like, can I, is there something I can do to get on the path to where you are? I'd like to be in your position. I don't want to take your job from you, but I just, so anyway, I don't know. That's probably that's the last piece of advice I can think of in my head, where it's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. Like if you want to know how to get into that position, I think, or how to do it well or anything, talk to the people that are actually doing it. Is absolutely great advice. And if and while you're at it, if you can always try to serenade them with the orangutan song. That was that
the orangutan song?
Yeah, the song that the orangutan sings. I wanna be like you, ooh, ooh. You know that one?
No.
I wanna walk like you, talk like you. From what's that movie?
Oh, is that from a Disney movie?
Yeah. And he wants to learn how to control fire.
Is that Jungle Book?
Yeah, Baloo. I want to be like you, Baloo. Thank you. Jungle Book. That's it. Totally. Yes. Just serenade them with that song, and they'll be more than happy to tell you how to be like them. And get where they went, get where they are. King Louie, yes, King Louie, Jungle Book. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. That's
fun.
it. Awesome. Beautiful.
The Disney movies.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you so much, Saule, for the topic. I hope we did our best. We covered everything we possibly could, I think. And from here, it's all up to you. I mean, either way that you go, Saule, you're a blessing to this world. You're so awesome. And I can see why they want to keep you. But I wish you the best to have the confidence to just go where you want to go, where you believe you can give your best.
Mm-hmm.
And make the best of the time you got. So, yeah. Kiglili, yeah. And too long. Yeah. Baloo, I believe, was the bear. I don't know. It's been a really long time for me.
He was
too.
the bear, and was he in Jungle Book? Hey, Shane,
Yeah.
how's it going, buddy? What I know, Baloo. Was that the Jungle Book?
Tailspin.
Yeah. Tailspin.
You guys, any of you guys know Tailspin?
Yeah, I remember Tailspin.
Ah, finally! I would give you a high five, but
bam!
you win it. If you spin it. Go ahead and say that to my brother. He'll be so happy.
But that was a show, though, right? That wasn't a movie.
No, that was a show. That was a TV show, right? Yeah. Did I say movie? I don't know what that would. Anyways.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, he was in Tailspin. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was also in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Rescue
Chip and Dale. Yeah, I think
that was Baloo.
I think no, Baloo wasn't. I think Baloo was in at least a couple of the episodes. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not. Was he? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I could be completely wrong. All right. Mowgli. Yeah, Mowgli was the boy. Should watch that one maybe someday.
I'm telling you what, though, the best cartoon from that era was Animaniacs.
Animaniacs. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
So good.
That's great.
It was such a good cartoon. Animaniacs was great.
Yeah,
Look it up.
Yeah,
For
they
all
have
you
so
people
many
who
characters.
are youngins.
Mhm. I actually appreciated the Looney Tunes whole. That was Warner Brothers. They had so many characters that crossed over from one thing to another thing. Like you'd be watching Animaniacs, and then you're like, wait. For a second there, I thought I was watching Pinky and the Brain. Okay, no, we're still watching the Animaniacs. It's just crossovers.
That's one of
constant.
those mini episodes. You know,
Yeah.
Like they had all these little mini episodes in there. You know,
Yeah.
of all these different things. That's cool.
Pinky and the Brain. They just mentioned it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right. Well.
What we gonna do tonight, Brian?
Oh wow.
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Of course. Crossovers are awesome. They are. Yeah.
Yep. Ooh.
Oh, Digimon Adventure. Wow.
Never saw that. I never saw it.
I only saw a few episodes of that myself.
Yes, Shade. How else were you supposed to learn the states and the capitals without Animaniacs?
I know, right? That's it.
And the countries of the world
Mm-hmm.
was all in there too, you know.
Which
like all
changed
that.
over time, but yeah. That's right.
Yes.
That's great.
Yep.
That's some good songs. Okay, well, we've got another topic we can do. We have enough time. So
yeah,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna stop the current topic and put up the new one. So this one is titled "Giving Up." It's from Anonymous.
Okay.
And I will go ahead and put it on the screen for you guys. All right, here you are. This one, again, from Anonymous, titled Giving Up. It reads as follows. As soon as I run into a problem when doing a task, I get frustrated, throwing my hands up and giving up. Then I spend time convincing myself that the task is not worth doing in the first place. How to stop doing this? From Anonymous. All right. So as soon as you get into a problem, or as soon as you get frustrated with a problem, you say, all right, it's not even worth doing anyways, and you give up. Okay, that's fair. That's a real tricky place to be in, because that doesn't get much done, right? And that doesn't feel very good. And yeah, So I guess it's kind of a question. How do you deal with frustration? How do you not get frustrated in the first place? How do you handle these problems when dealing with tasks? So, yeah, great topic. I'm going to give it over to Joe and see what he's got to say about it.
Dang, just like that.
Yeah, have at it, Joe. Okay, hold on. I'll give you more time.
Dive
does a
right
lot.
in with both feet.
Joe, that's right. Dive right in with
Joe
both.
does a lot.
Joe
does a lot of frustrating things.
Joe's good at doing tasks and putting hard work in, even when it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I understand when you get to that point of frustration and how do you stop doing that? I think it just becomes a matter of discipline. Becomes a matter of discipline and maybe I don't know. I have trouble with failure. Like I have trouble failing at stuff. Like I hate it. But I understand that's part of the path to success is to fail. And most of the time over and over and over and over and over again until you get to the point where you're successful. Right? And so sometimes a task. So you say as soon as I run into a problem in doing a task, I get frustrated, throw my hands up and give up. So you're like automatically give up and quit. And then convince yourself that the task wasn't worth doing in the first place. Okay. You're going to probably have a little bit of a struggle with self-image as a result. If you continue down this path of doing this. But how do you stop? I would say sometimes we need to learn to have commitment. I guess maybe I'm not the right person to answer this. I have commitment issues, but they're the opposite direction of most people's commitment issues. Like I commit really hard and then like stick and stick and stick and stick and don't give up and don't give up and everybody else is quitting all around me and everything falls apart and I still don't give up. And then I get told that I should have given up like 11 years ago, but since I didn't, everything's going to be a lot harder. So like I will commit. I will commit early and I will commit hard. In many cases, I've done it in different career paths. I've done it in relationships. I've done it in all kinds of stuff. But that's just my commitment issue. So sounds to me like maybe you have a little bit of a commitment struggle. Anonymous. It's okay. But I think one of the things to do is to train yourself in some kind of a discipline. This might help you. And that is maybe it's some kind of physical exercise regimen. You can find a bunch of them online where you have like a 30-day fitness regimen or something like that. It doesn't have to be like intensely crazy or whatever. But what I'd like to see you do in starting from this point where you are right now is try and in a very simple way make some kind of a commitment and follow through. And I would do it with tasks that are I would try and do it with things that are more than just like 1-day tasks. I would maybe set up, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cook myself food for 5 days in a row. Right? It could be something as simple as that. Could be something as simple as, last time we were talking, last week we were on here and we were talking all about toilet seats, right? Just be like, I'm going to make a commitment that every time I use the toilet, I'm going to wipe the seat off, even if it's not dirty or whatever, right? Just because. What it is it creates a habit of following through on a commitment. And I think that's probably the most important thing you need to do here. Because eventually what's going to happen is as you're doing some of these tasks, you're going to run into a little bit of a challenge. You're going to run into an obstacle. But then you're going to get the choice. You're going to get the chance to fall back on your commitment and be like, okay, I made this commitment. I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do it. All right. And I don't know, like, I wasn't always good at this. I wasn't always good at making commitments, but I remember, I don't know, I was probably in my early to mid 20s. And I started coming across leadership development material like audios, books, and stuff like that. And some guy said to me, he didn't say it to me, he said it from stage, or maybe it was in a book or something, or maybe it was said from stage and he was quoting a book or something similar. But he talked about following through and how much, like, when you don't follow through, that's your character on the line. Do you do what you say? You know, and if your words and your commitments don't match up to your actions, then your character is all out of whack. And you're being dishonest. You're being dishonest with yourself and you're being dishonest with the people around you. You're being dishonest with the world. Because I said I was going to do this. And doggone it, if I don't, then I just lied. That's my character on the line. And that hit me really, really hard. Because I had started to learn that character really counts when you're trying to succeed at anything. And it really comes down to, will you do the things you say you're going to do? Can people count on you? We expect to be able to count on everybody. And we get mad when things don't go our way because Amazon didn't send me the thing they said they were going to send at the day that they said they were going to send it. What if Amazon, had this fluffy, willy-nilly character flaw of quitting when things didn't go their way? Well, they wouldn't be in business anymore, and we wouldn't have the convenience of Amazon, right? And I'm sorry, Anonymous, I'm not trying to beat you up, but I'm trying to, this is how hard these things were hitting me, right? If I go someplace and I'm expecting something, if I go to Little Caesars Pizza and they say, well, and I order a pizza and they're like, well, we don't have pizzas anymore, we do hamburgers.
They better do them good.
Like that,
They're giving
kind
up
of silly.
pizzas.
Is it a
Jeez.
pizza burger? Like, seriously, man, like, come on. But it comes down to an issue of character. It comes down to an issue of, okay, I said I was going to do this, let's do it. And if there's something going wrong and I'm not going to be able to do it, then I need to get into contact with the people that I committed to and explain and try and figure out, is there a way that we can salvage this, or is it just done? But I got to be up front and I got to be like, look, and I've had to do this before where I've tried and I've left everything I possibly could on the table and still failed. And that's a hard spot to be in. Usually a lot of tears, a lot of stress. But if you start giving up everything, start quitting everything you do, then you never will last long enough to succeed at anything. I would not be a good drummer today if when it got hard, I quit. Because it was hard. A lot of times it was hard. I can remember times when I was in college and then preparing for college auditions and doing all this kind of stuff. Like my hands would be bleeding. There'd be blood all over the instruments because I'm practicing like 6 to 10 hours a day after school. I don't know. So I don't know. You really get to make that choice. This is a choice that resides within you. And it comes down to a matter of character. Are you going to be who you say you are? Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? Are you going to follow through on your word, the things you've told people, or even yourself? The things, and that's the most important one. If I tell myself I'm going to do something and then I don't do it, at first it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can relax. I don't have to do this thing. I quit, right? Whatever. But then later it haunts me. And then I start creating this habit. Because it sounds to me like you somewhere along the line created this habit of giving up and you're just continuing this habit. I would say create a new habit of finishing. Now, this is a very common issue. A lot of people are really great starters. Very few finish well. So, I don't know. To me, that's what it kind of boils down to. I mean, how do you stop doing that? I would say start simple. Start simple with little things that you easily can accomplish. Very small. Like this is crazy. This is probably going to sound crazy. Neon Side, you're good at finishing, but not good at starting. How do you get to the finish if you didn't start?
That's great. That's really great.
I don't know. Ask your husband.
That sounds like a hard talk.
Oh, we're going to get to the point where you guys are taking my marital advice now?
Punch each other?
Yeah. Yep, Ryan, start everything for me.
Yeah. It's just, that's a hard problem. I have no idea.
And if you don't start, she can punch you.
That's right. Ooh.
And if she doesn't finish, you can punch her.
But she's not going to start punching, so I have to punch myself first, and then she'll finish me off.
Oh.
I'll be, finish him.
Right, start all the concept art for the game, and
I'll just finish it. Yeah, well, that's probably right.
Perfect,
probably right.
Perfect. Yeah. So just start draw some kind of really crappy drawing.
I know, I could too. If I draw something really crappy,
I'll draw something really dumb, and that and here, finish it.
Yeah, if I just start drawing and pretend like I'm trying my best, and it's just turning out crappy, she will take the pencil out of my hand and finish it, and I'll be like, "Sweet, I'm out of here." It's
perfect.
It's true. It'll be great.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Well, I'm glad you're a great finisher.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Bad with the blank canvas. All right, Ryan, your job is to draw a stick figure on a blank canvas.
Yeah, apparently.
But okay, so Anonymous, that I would say start really simple. Start simple with something little. Making your bed. even. I know that some people are like, that's the key to everything, making your bed. Because when you make a commitment to make your bed and you do it and you start doing that for a week, like everything, like that's the beginning of your day. You start with a win. You get up, you get out of bed, you make your bed, and you say, I committed that I'm going to make my bed. It's not hard to make your bed. It's really not. I'll give you a hint. I found the best way to make my bed is to sit in my bed, right? So I'll sit in my bed. I even have a blanket right here so I can kind of show you. So I sit in my bed with my head against the headboard, or my back against the headboard, right? So I'm sitting, and I'll grab the covers and I'll pull them up to like my waist, and then I'll kind of fold it over, and then I have a nice, I just kind of pull it all up here and fold it over while I'm sitting in the bed, and then I lift a corner of the blanket, scoot out, and put that corner back. My bed's made. Takes 10 seconds. None of this walking around my bed, pulling the covers over, and then walking to the other side and putting the covers, all that walking around my bed first thing in the morning and stub my toe on the bed, the thing, and then it's bleeding, and like my toe hurts, and then and then maybe I fall down. Nope, none of that. I'm just sitting on my mattress, pull my blankets up, put them over my waist, which is right about where my the covers are going to go. Fold it down over my lap, lift the corner out. Right?
Depending on
Simple.
your size and the size of the bed, you may have to do a little bit of stretching exercises to make the bed as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
that's true.
You might not be able to reach both sides of the bed at once if you don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah. Well, and the onside's right. Make sure you do a proud superhero pose after completing your bed. Otherwise, it will be pointless.
That's so true.
I would argue the point isn't to feel like a superhero. The point is to create a habit of finishing things.
Maybe the superhero
or maybe
pose
you
is
can
the
put
reward.
that. You put the soup. I have to do the superhero pose.
That's making a commitment right there.
I'm gonna make a commitment to do a superhero pose every morning after I make my bed. Yeah, if you don't feel good about yourself after finishing the thing, that's true. Like, yeah, it's good. You aren't training yourself that it's good. That's yeah. So anyway, that's what I got, Ryan. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
be this superhero.
You guys punch each other.
Oh, okay. We'll do it romantically.
Yeah. The romantic punching.
Yes. Hero says, be the superhero whose superpower is the power to finish tasks. That's great. Yeah, honestly, I think the first thing that came to my mind with this topic was what Joe said. I think it's an issue. I'm not trying to stick it to you or say like, hey, you've got like you're a bad person or anything like that. But the first thing that would come to my mind is my character. It's like I want to be the kind of man that does what he says he can do. And some days that's like, I don't want to drive to the store, but I think that's the right thing to do. So I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And some days that's like, I've got this task and it's really hard. And I might need a break to think about it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it. Whether I get frustrated or not. But I think also, yeah, I think the character is a big deal to me. Who I am, to me, is important. Because that's how, partially because I'm Christian and that's how I'm going to be judged. And it's not like everything's about being judged and getting into heaven or something. But more so, while I'm on this earth, I get to be something that brings about good into the world. Or I can choose not to be. And I know if I give up everything I start, I'm not going to bring about that much good. Who I am will still be good, and what I can do potentially could still be good, but my performance hasn't been. And my character hasn't been good. I am saying I'm going to do this thing, and then I give up, right? So, yeah, for me, I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind. which is also what came to Joe's mind. And I think that's a good place to start. And again, not trying to pick on you whatsoever. Hey, Savage. And then my other thought here is this. So, well, I have you have two things going here that I want to talk about and try my best to address. And the thing is, I don't think I know how to address this very well. Okay, but you've said two things here. One, you get frustrated. I'd like to talk about that. And two, your reaction to the frustration is throwing your hands up in the air, convincing yourself that it's not even worth doing in the first place and giving up, right? Well, you give up and then you convince yourself so that you don't have to feel bad about it, right? And so those are the two mechanisms going on in your brain that I think, obviously you posted this, you know that these aren't healthy, and that's great. You know that. And so we're not hitting you hard. You already are hitting yourself hard, in a way, right? And so, so I don't know. I'm gonna address the frustration one first. The point isn't necessarily to try to never be frustrated and live a life where you'll never be frustrated. It's much better to be frustrated and finish a task than to necessarily never have frustration in your life, so that you end up finishing every task because you've learned how to shut down frustration, right? I think it's more healthy to be a person who finishes tasks despite the difficulties, rather than being a person who finishes a task because there's never a difficulty. Now, that being said, I think frustration is worth working on. Or even more so, how you handle frustration. If you find yourself getting frustrated a lot, okay, and it sounds like you do, I don't want to say that's not normal, because maybe it is normal. But I do want to say it doesn't have to be that way. It's not wrong to get frustrated at things. But if you get frustrated abnormally a lot, like you feel like it's not balanced, like you find that you get frustrated multiple times a day, or anytime you start any task ever, you're finding yourself getting frustrated, right? Then there's an issue, right? And so I think frustration should be put back into balance. So how do you do that? Well, unfortunately, how you react to your frustration is part of the challenge. So if you react to your frustration, if your reaction to frustration is just to avoid it, say, oh, well, I'm frustrated, so I'm just going to throw my hands up and leave, right? What you're doing is you're training your mind that you're not training your mind whatsoever to try to tackle the frustration or to try to simmer yourself down. Instead, you're just saying, well, frustration, you win. And that's not training your mind to be less frustrated, of course. It just trains your mind to just, I guess, allow frustration to win. It's important to note, right? And we all know this, I think, to some degree. And I think we all live this at different points in our life. And it's something we should live every day. There's something called emotional intelligence, emotional control, right? But I think we all know and live out this understanding of emotions aren't who we are, and they aren't there to guide us every step of the way. Your frustration is not a justification. It does not justify quitting, right? And you know that. That's why you brought this up. I'm not telling you anything new there. You already know that, right? I'm just reiterating it again in your brain so that you hear it and you agree with yourself. Being frustrated isn't a reasonable thing, or isn't a reason for giving up. Not a good reason for giving up, right? Frustration is just an emotion. It's just an experience. It's just a reaction, right? The subconscious mind, what does it do? It records and executes habits. We've talked about this a lot. You've probably heard me say this a billion times. It's what records things such as being able to walk and talk, chew bubblegum, swing your arms, all at the same time, right? You can do those things because your subconscious mind has learned how to do these things and they facilitated them. Also included in this is the kinds of things you like in the world, how you react to things. Someone calls you stupid, how do you react? What's your first reaction? Not everybody's reaction is that way. There are people who react differently to that word. Why? It's not because they're a different person. It's because their brain has a different habit. It's because their brain has a different habit associated with being called stupid. So if someone calls me stupid, it's going to be different than the next person from me, probably. But my childhood version of me being called stupid is very different than my adult version of me, right? That's because at some point in my life, I realized that people calling me stupid, it doesn't need to mean anything to me. It doesn't need to affect my emotions. It really doesn't need to affect my emotions. I don't have to be emotionally stirred. I really don't. I really, really don't have to be emotionally stirred just because someone called me stupid, just because they used those words and it was directed at me. The reality is, I can have a reaction that says, like so many different things. Some people, like I could have a reaction where I'm like, I'm disappointed for the rest of the day and I feel awful and I feel really hurt. I could have a reaction where I think that's kind of funny. I could have a reaction where I just ignore them because I just immediately, my brain just shuts those kinds of negative things down. It's like, that's not earning you anything to listen to that. So just, who cares about it? Move on. Like, it literally does not do anything for me. So just move on. Like, why pay any attention? It's like you don't pay attention to the ants crossing the street because they don't do anything for you. Maybe you pay attention because they entertain you for a moment. But generally, if you're going on a long walk, you see lots of that. And soon enough, you don't care if the ants are crossing the street. That's normal. It's like they cross the street, whatever. It's like, okay. It doesn't mean anything to me, so it's out. You don't carry on the thought of ants crossing a street for you for the next month straight because you're like, it really got me inside.
You don't?
No, I don't
What's
tend
wrong
to.
with you?
I know, right? My point is,
I would let that make me mad, and then I would go do something.
That's right, you would, Joe. See, Joe's different. He's trained that. It's a trained reaction, trained response.
Yes. Everything. I get mad at everything.
Yeah, he's like the Hulk. Except for Joe don't smash things. He just gets things done.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. He might smash that like button though. Hey guys. No.
I smash my to-do list.
That's right. Anyways, my point is, you're gonna have frustration from time to time in life. How you react to it is gonna train your brain how to react to frustration. So you have to first realize you have a choice. When you experience frustration, you have a choice how you react. And if you start doing something different every time you get frustrated, eventually that will become how you naturally respond to frustration. Okay? And you might find that your frustration diminishes. If you have a response to frustration that is, well, this frustration doesn't really help me get very much more done in this situation. It's a very analytical approach. But if you have that thought every single time you have frustration, eventually your mind will stop giving you that signal so often. It'll be a rare signal because you keep on responding to it. It's like, okay, thank you, frustration. Do I need you at this moment? Are you helpful? Okay. In this case, no. In some cases, maybe yes. It's okay to be frustrated, right? Sometimes frustration doesn't mean we need to ignore it. Sometimes the feeling of frustration means what the best thing our minds can do right now is go for a walk and think about it, right? Frustration can be a cue to you that, hey, it's time to go about this at a different angle. It's time to think about this for a second before we continue trying to, bang our heads against the wall until the bricks break, right? Maybe try a different way. Sometimes you got to recoup. Sometimes the frustration is there because things aren't fair, and that's okay. Sometimes frustration is there because things are wrong, and that's not okay, right? And so how you react to your frustration is important, but question your frustration so that your frustration knows its place. Question your frustration so that your frustration can be a tool for good rather than I guess, your owner, because you end up a slave to it, right? Because at this point, you're saying you're doing a task, you get frustrated, and that frustration leads to giving up on things you wanted to do, or you knew you should do, or whatever. So now you're a slave to this emotion, and that's a stinky place to be. When we become slave to our own emotions, which aren't even all the time logical or smart or helpful, they're still useful.
And
they're still good for us. Sometimes.
But they're not permanent either.
And they're and exactly, and they're fleeting.
You can't count on them.
You can't rely on them. Yeah, they're not going to be there for you forever. Like if you live your life responding to your emotions, that's putting the cart in front of the horse, right? If you live your life responding to your own emotions, what are emotions? Your emotions are a reaction to what's going on. So you're living your life responding to a response about what's going on. Okay. That might work out for you. But chances are you'd be better off just responding to the thing rather than responding to some elicited response that's programmed in your head. Not your fault, by the way. It's likely not your fault that you get frustrated. It's likely not your fault that you give up.
No, because it's my fault.
Because it's Joe's fault. No. I'm saying it's likely not your fault it's likely not your fault because you probably didn't intentionally program your brain to be like this. You had no intention of ever programming your brain to be like this. You just are this way right now. The beautiful thing is, there's hope. You can change. You can eventually get to a point, if you decide to train yourself and do better here, which you definitely can, right? And that's why you're bringing this topic up. If you decide, like, I'm going to be the kind of person that makes my bed and actually does it. I'm going to be the kind of person that's proud of myself. I'm going to be the kind of person that has good character, that does what I said I'm going to do. I'm the kind of person that finishes my tasks, right? If you decide that, what's going to happen is you're going to transform over time into a person who naturally, just reactively, even against your will sometimes, makes the bed, finishes your tasks, etc. Why? Because you've trained it into your head. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful. It will determine so much of your life because you can't be conscious of everything. A lot of what we do in our daily life is reactions, but those reactions can be trained. And most of the time they're not. They're just random reactions that we somehow got from watching other people around us in the society we live in, our parents, our brothers and sisters, just random, and we had no intention of programming them. They were just programmed in us. And some of them are good and beautiful and great and helpful, and some of them are self-destructive. And so the best thing you can do is just go forward with that in mind and say, I can decide what these reactions are going to be like if I start making habits now. I wouldn't recommend trying to end your current habits because that's your brain isn't ordered to the destruction of habits. Your subconscious mind doesn't have in it the capabilities, generally speaking, of destroying habits because it's designed to create habits and overwrite habits. So I would say, how can you overwrite giving up? Well, you override the act of giving up by pursuing even when you feel frustrated. And that's hard, but the hardest part is going to be now. But the later you is going to be so thankful that you can just do it with ease, even if you're frustrated and, you're just like, oh yeah, it's easy for me. People look at me like, how is it that you just you finish everything? That's amazing. And you're like, oh, it's easy for me. It's just like always been this way. Wait, no, that's not true. No, there was a time in my life I wasn't that way. Oh, that was a long time ago. And that's my position, and that's Joe's position, right? There was a time in my life I finished nothing, ever. Then I was like, okay, my character is important to me. It's like same journey as Joe. And I started deciding to always try to be the best man I could be for other people and for myself. And I was like, well, the best men finish what they start. The best men do the things they said they're going to do. So I'm going to try to be that. I'm going to try to be like that. And eventually people looked at me and were like, how is it that you work so hard? Like, how can you do that? And so on and so forth. And I'm just like, just do it. Like, to me, it's not a big deal. To me, my brain just naturally works that way. But guess what? It didn't. It really, really didn't. I'm a phlegmatic. I don't care about tasks. I don't want to get anything done. I just want to laze around all day and be happy doing nothing, because doing nothing is super great. It's so awesome. Okay, that's where I came from.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So I'm saying that's the instinctual animalistic version of myself, okay?
Yeah.
And that's true. Yeah. That's right. So that's me at my animalistic side, without any trying to be a good person, engaging my humanity. But if I engage my humanity, I will train myself to become a better person who has better work ethics, who has better, who can be kinder, who knows how to socialize with people, and so on and so forth. All of this is trained. I used to be terrible at dealing with people. I used to be so bad at, talking with people and getting my opinions out there, speaking in general, all of this stuff. I was so bad with it. But eventually, over time, I developed the habits. How? By participating in doing the things that I was afraid of doing. Or whether I was afraid or not. I didn't want to do it, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And so over time, I developed these habits. And my point is, you can develop a habit that you're just kind of calm and peaceful, and you just get stuff done. And it's great. You can develop a habit that you get angry at everything, but it gets stuff done, and it's great.
Yeah. Well,
because anger doesn't have to, anger itself is a response to the world around you and how you're receiving it. It doesn't have to elicit aggression.
Exactly.
It can elicit energy that's devoted to something. Right. So all of these are things, and you're not going to turn out the same as me. You're probably not going to turn out the same as Joe. You're going to turn out into your own person. The best you is different than the best me. But I'm going to bet that the best you is probably not one that gets frustrated at every task or as soon as you run into a problem, right? This is just an experience that you're going through right now. I want to really say that again. This is just an experience that you're going through right now. It's an experience. And it will change. It'll become something different. And here's the thing, whether you work on this or not, it will change. And it'll become something different. It might turn into a monster.
Yeah.
It might solve itself somehow, an accident. You just end up doing the right things and somehow it goes away. Chances are very unlikely, but that can be the case. Sometimes that happens. This is just an experience that you're going through right now. It doesn't define you. It doesn't define you in such a way like this is you forever. This isn't your design. This doesn't have anything to do with that. This is just an emotional response, and then a response to that response, and a response to that response, which is justifying it. You don't need to justify it. It's okay. Bad things like this that that you bring to us on the table is something that you're struggling with, probably aren't worth justifying. So I would start with, well, it's okay to feel ashamed. It's okay to feel guilty.
Sure. There's
nothing wrong with that. It's normal. In fact, it's healthy.
I feel ashamed and guilty a lot of times. That's why I go to confession so much.
Yeah. It's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to go. And not a great thing to do necessarily I do all the things that make me feel ashamed and guilty because it's a really good thing.
Because then I can go to confession.
No. You need something different than confession right there. But anyways, therapy
I
and then
am the
confession.
chief of sinners. Just so you all know, I am the chief of sinners.
Oh wow, I thought that was Paul. Okay.
Nah,
Wow.
Paul's got nothing on me,
Okay.
and he's a saint.
That's right. So you're even more saintier. Wait. Not a
Yeah,
word.
because I'm the chief of sinners.
That's right. So anyways, my point is, this is temporary if you make it temporary. You have to choose how you're going to respond to frustration. You're going to have to choose whether you think frustration is elicited, if it's warranted rather, if it's worthy of being an experience or not. And you have to, at some point, create the habit of whenever you feel frustrated, respond with calmness. And if you do that enough, when frustrating things come your way, your instinctive reaction will remain calm and figure out how to solve the problem. It is that way. I'm not saying you need to create a habit that like, because I don't know how to say, like, I don't think there is a way to be like, oh yeah, just don't get frustrated. Just create a habit where you don't get frustrated. I don't think that's really the result. I don't think that has any results. What you need to do is create a habit of being calm when you're addressing problems. When you get a problem, get excited. Because why? Oh no, there's a problem. No, not oh no. It's like, oh, there's a problem. I get to be intelligent. Watch this.
Yes, I get to come up with a solution.
I get to come up with a solution. This is going to be really cool. I'm going to use all of my ingenuity. I'm going to be so creative with it. This is going to be cool. It's going to blow people's minds. They're going to be like, oh, that's really smart. Yeah, and if I can't get it, I know someone else can. I'll figure it out, even if I have to like talk to other people. This is going to be cool though. If you have that energy towards your problems, you're not going to get frustrated anymore. So maybe what you could do is create that habit. When you experience a problem, and you'll know when you're experiencing a problem because right now you get frustrated. So when you feel frustrated, okay, but if you can figure out that you got a problem before you get frustrated, that's a good time to chime in with this, right? Mm-hmm. See a problem, be like, oh, I get to solve this, right? I get to be the one that showcases my intelligence or showcases my physical ability, showcases my natural talent or unnatural talent. I get to be the one that shows I can rise above and beyond what I am right now and solve a problem that's ahead of me. Because I'm going to have to figure out, like, I'm going to have to learn to solve this problem, and that's going to be tough. I get to be the kind of person that shows I do what I say. And if these are your responses for the rest of your life, whenever you experience a problem, your natural response will be like, guys, I think we have a problem on our hand. And they're like, what? And you're like, no, this is good. Because solving problems is how you move ahead in life. Always. Like, okay, maybe not always, but almost always. Solving problems is how you move forward in life, right?
That's usually it.
It's usually it. And so that's great, right? That's like a great reason to give rise to celebration before you even solve the problem. Because you know that you're up against something that will probably move you forward. And you want to move forward.
Yeah.
Right? Moving forward means you're doing more good, or you're helping more people, or you're whatever it is that makes you happy, you're moving forward in that. And so get this idea down, however it works for you, whatever you can think about that goes like, if I address problems this way, I would always be like victorious. I'd always be happy. Do that. Like the mentality. Get the mentality and then pursue that mentality. Respond to, quote, a feeling of a problem. You notice a problem. Okay, respond with, I should be happy. Okay, I should be happy. All right. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you a briefing on what's going to happen probably the first several times so that you know what you're up against and you know that you can do it. Because if I just say, oh, do this, then you're going to be like, I can't do that. I've been trying that. That just doesn't work for me, right? There's a potential. I'm not saying that you are going to be like that. I'm just saying sometimes that's how we are. It's just how we are as human beings. So here's probably what's going to happen. You're going to experience a problem, and then you're going to be like, oh yeah, I need to just be happy. That's a reaction. How am I just going to be happy? I'm not happy, okay? I'm frustrated. Okay, got it. Understood. Don't do it that way. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? You say, I've got a problem. Okay. Okay, I've got a problem. Okay. I've got a problem. And I'm going to solve it. Okay. Okay, you see I put my body into that? All right. Like, I felt it in my stomach first and let the smile come out. I'm like, man, you're excited. training myself.
Excited about that problem. Man.
Yeah, I'm excited about the problem.
Oh,
now,
yes.
You're going to have to do that like 20 times before you actually just get that feeling of like your brain will see problem. It'll be like, tick, serotonin released, dopamine released. You're like, boom, I found a problem. You're like, oh, it's time to be happy. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Literally, you can train your brain to do this because you're a frog. No, wait, you're a human being. But anyways, you can literally do this to yourself. And it's worth doing because it's something that will build your character. It's something that makes problems worth going through right from the beginning of when you see them because you're excited about it. Okay. Another thing you do, you're going to do that. And then you're going to actually start getting to work, and it's going to frustrate you again. So then what do? It's okay to be frustrated, right? You carry through, but you carry through trying to retain that positive energy the best you can. Even if it's just a morsel of a positive energy. Just say, no, I decided I was going to be happy, so I'm doing my best to be happy right now, you know? I'm doing my best. Okay, you're going to do that a bit. And eventually, you won't have to try so hard. You'll be frustrated, but you'll be like, this isn't so bad. I think I'm having a good time. Because if you keep telling yourself you're having a good time, your brain will start to believe you. And that's okay. And eventually, you do this for long enough. Might take a month, might take 2 months, might take 3 months. Depends on how many problems you run into. Maybe you don't run into that many, but eventually, you won't get frustrated that much anymore. It'll be very rare. And when you do feel frustrated, you'll just be like, oh, I'm frustrated right now. That's okay. And then you'll just do whatever you were doing. It won't bother you. You'll just be like, oh man, this is just really getting me. I don't understand it. That's okay. Go for a walk. Think about it for a while. Come back to it. Right? Those are good responses. But all I'm saying is right now you have too much frustration. It's okay to have frustration, but it can be a little too much, right? If it's every time you experience a problem, that's, again, just not a good reaction. So I'm trying to help you react differently. Try to get your brain into a position where subconsciously, without even a single thought, it just goes into a different place than it's going right now. And what it is it takes manual work, and your brain learns from your manual actions until it says, oh, I know how to do that. Don't worry. I got this. So I got this conscious mind. I can do this for you now. And it does it without you having to think about it, right? That's all this is. That's all this is. And this isn't your fault, but it is your problem. And you get the opportunity to fix it. And what's really cool is you can turn out to be someone. Now, other people won't get this adventure that you did. Some other people might never have to struggle with frustration. But because you struggled with it, you turned out to be a person who handles frustration in a way that other people will just drop their jaw at and be like, wow.
Right.
While other people are like, they only get frustration every once in a great while and it really messes with them and they quit, right? Just like you're doing now.
Right.
They might never learn. But you probably learn pretty quick. If it's something you're dealing with on a pretty common basis, you probably learn pretty quick. And that's an amazing, amazing place to be. So I'm saying this mostly from experience. Literally, there were times in my life where I was like, I have to do homework. Like, seriously, right now, I'd rather go walk up to that wall and bang my head into it. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I literally did that. I'm not even joking. One time I literally walked up ahead and banged my head into it like it was a brick wall. I was like, hey, homework. It helped. Somehow I decided to sit down after that and do it. Would not recommend. Yeah.
Oh, you ban him from doing
Yeah,
this, do you?
thank you. Thank you for banning me. I don't need to do that anymore. I learned to taunt myself.
Stop being such a controlling wife. My
That's great. So anyways, that's what I have for you, Anonymous. I know I went like way over and I talked for a long time on this, but this is all just reactions. And it's not uncontrollable. Right now it's just reactions, and it's not your fault. It's just where you're at. So right now you're in a position where you get the opportunity to start trying to create new types of reactions to these things. And if you tackle this, you can tackle anything. Like I said, beginning, a younger version of me, someone called me stupid. I really took that to heart, and that ruined me. It ruined my like whole day, right? Eventually, at some point, I learned that I didn't have to be offended. Offended was a choice, and it was a reaction, and it was an emotion, and it didn't need to be in my life in those particular positions. Taking offense isn't always bad. There are things that are offensive, but being called stupid doesn't have to ruin my day. Being called stupid shouldn't take over my whole day and be like, yeah, now that's all I can think about. Really? Being called stupid, let that control my life? That doesn't make sense. That's not good. So I at some point I was like, okay, wait, I don't have to take offense if someone calls me stupid. I can actually laugh with them and be like, yeah, that wasn't a very smart move, was it? All right, let's figure out where to go from here, right? I can do that.
It's a choice, right?
Yeah.
It's a choice.
And that's all just a choice. And sometimes it takes a bit of humility. Sometimes it takes a different virtue. You know, there's plenty of virtues to study up on and try to focus on and get better at, but like these are just reactions. They're subconscious reactions. And you can override them. You can make new ones. New ones will be made for you whether you want them to be made or not. Just have what you're working with.
Yep.
But believe it or not, you've got a lot more control than you think. Cool.
Whatever we do consistently, the subconscious mind takes over and does it automatically. And that's what you're experiencing now.
Mm-hmm.
You're experiencing now automatically when you experience a problem, your automatic response that your subconscious is doing for you makes you frustrated, makes you quit, and then convince yourself that it wasn't worth doing in the first place. That's a habit that's now your subconscious mind has taken over, and it does it automatically, right? So like what Ryan was talking about, that subconscious mind is super powerful, and it will take over as you start doing something different consistently. It will take over, and it generally takes a month or so to develop this new habit. But then keep going. Once you have the habit, then keep going, and then your subconscious will take it over, and it'll just be automatic. And then you can move on to other stuff that gives you that poise, that control, like Ryan was talking about, that is like awe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people.
It's pretty amazing. Wow. And then if you shave your head and grow a beard, it gets even better.
Yeah.
Because
wait, what? I only did half of that. Darn it! I've got a long way to go because my hair's really long. Great.
Because then you can go to the trampoline park with your kid, and when there's a random 20-year-old dude that's bigger and taller than you, that's acting kind of inappropriately,
mm-hmm.
you can go confront him, and he will back down, even though he's twice your size and in way better shape and younger.
Because you're bald and have a beard.
Because I'm bald and have a beard. And because I have subconsciously a lot of training from martial arts, a lot of things. So there's this posturing in body language, right? Mm-hmm. So I can just walk up and be like, dude, what are you doing? And look at him like I'm going to kill him. And then he,
It also helps if you have sunglasses.
Not that that ever actually happened.
Yeah.
this
Of
past
course.
weekend.
Oh yeah, right. Doesn't sound like a recent experience whatsoever. That's funny.
Pretty funny though. It's a crazy feeling because when you have that posture, when you have that confidence in your mind, and you have developed some of these habits, and your subconscious has taken over, you kind of develop this, and you stand up straighter, and you walk a little bit faster with more purpose, and people get out of your way,
Mm.
and people don't mess with you, right? So like these are some great things.
Yeah. Yeah, people will respect you in a lot of different ways.
Mhm.
And Joe was talking about like people respect your physical presence, literally. Sometimes people respect like I am astounded, and I can't even say why this is. I mean, other than some blessings of God, but there have been many people who, if I come into the room, they just change their behavior to be like holy, you know. And if I leave the
true.
room, they go back to being themselves or whatever, their bad selves. And it's not like I've ever yelled at anyone like don't swear in front of me or anything. I've never done that. But people have a sort of respect because they can see something. They it's not even necessarily that they see something and they respect it. They think that it's profound and good and they honor it. And
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
all
I don't even
stuff.
swear very much when Ryan's there.
Yeah. And so I would say this isn't who you are in a way. Your subconscious mind, who your subconscious mind is, okay, becomes who you decide to be every single day of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you choose to be the kind of person that has high character and lives, finishing your tasks and so on and so forth, tries to do the right things, isn't above going on like an 8-hour car trip to pick someone up, just because they're having a rough time, it's whatever. You don't if you put yourself to that high standard and you live that way, eventually your subconscious mind will just be on board with that. And that's the kind of person you will be on camera and off camera, so to speak, right? When you apply yourself and when you don't apply yourself, that's just the protocol. Protocol is be good. Protocol is have character. The protocol is this, that, and the other thing. And that's who you become. And so I think that's really important. It's a really important thing. And it kind of shows how important your actions are. Because those things will become habits, and that habit will make up how your life is in a lot of ways. And how other people see you, and how that will change your life, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. Anyways, I think we've dug a deep enough pit for you to sit in there and
to fall into and dig yourself out.
And dig yourself out. Yeah, that's right. And again, neither of us are picking on you at all. We're sharing our own personal experience on this, sharing our own personal fights on this issue and the battles we've had. And like we only know this because we've had to do it. And so be proud of yourself. That like any movement you've already made in this category, be proud of yourself for that. And any movement you make from here on forward, that's super amazing, right? And it's not like I guess my point is we're not beating you up. We're just being straight with you with how our experience was with it. And that this was our way through it. This was our way forward. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's probably the same thing for Joe and I, that it's really a matter of how we saw ourselves and decided we wanted to be and our character and creating those new habits, right? I think that's the same probably for most people. So,
yep,
that's
very
it.
true.
That's all we got.
If
it's
possible,
not that, then sorry.
It's doable. You can totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a little difficult, but you can, and it's gonna take creating new habits, like Ryan was talking about. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's totally it.
Mm-hmm. And you can do it. Yep, absolutely, you can do it. Absolutely, you can do it. You are made to do it. That's literally how your brain works. So you were made to do it. You can do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be great. It'll
Yeah.
be great when you get there.
Yeah.
I promise.
Absolutely. So, thank you. Thank you
Cool.
for this topic.
Yeah.
Sorry for running a little late. Hope you're able to stick around. If you're not, hope you watched it afterwards on another day. But yeah, thanks for the great Don't Worry Wednesday, guys.
You guys are amazing. I'm so glad you were here.
Yeah.
So glad you were here, Ryan.
Oh, thank you. I tried. I showed up, you know, and that
You did.
was. I guess that was not
Showed
very
up
hard.
like a boss, man. It was awesome.
Awesome. Awesome's awesome.
Awesome bossum.
Awesome bossum around. That's right.
Yes.
That's what I do. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at bossing others around. That's something I need to get better at. I'm actually a very assertive person, but I do not boss people around. I'm not good at that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's okay. We all have things to learn.
Thanks, Jesse.
Jesse, you are here.
Jesse, you're a great topic. and a
Jesse,
great
I told a bit of your
discussion.
story, and I probably got a bit of it wrong, so I'm sorry, but I hope that hope I did not bring shame upon you and your whole family.
If you're ever with Jesse, wake him up early in the morning and see
Oh
what happens.
no, why would you do that? Jesse needs his 12 hours.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Poor Jesse. Yeah,
I love you,
Great.
Jesse. I love you.
I love Jesse too. Such
Yes.
a great friend.
Yes.
An amazing human being.
Please don't.
Not at all. Also, please don't. Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dab.
Yes, it is definitely time to get going for all of us. Thank you guys for thanks for having us on your screen. And thank you
Yes.
for having us in your ears. And thank you for having us at all. And we love you. And we appreciate that you went on this little journey with us today, and hope you got something out of it one way or another. Even if it was nothing that we said, but we hope you got something lovely out of this experience. Yeah. Anyways, Joe, anything you want to add?
I love you guys. You're amazing.
Mm.
And take good care of each other and yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you next week.
Right. Bye, guys.
When we'll have.
Oh.
Well, no, you won't actually. Never mind.
Oh, okay. You won't have. That's okay. There are other things you can have. You just won't have.
You won't have ashes on your head.
Oh, right.
Because for you, it's not Wednesday anymore.
Yeah, it'd be Thursday. That's right. Yeah, Lent's coming up. Great.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Blessings, y'all.
Hey.
Have a great life. See
Love
you next
guys.
time.
We'll see it. Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.